step up, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And when it comes time, if there are questions or comments from the audience, we would request, like the developer, we're going to use the podium and the microphone, and you just state your name and address, and then we'll take the questions or comments after that. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the council, mayor, and for the public for coming out. I appreciate. Can you hear me?
No.
Okay.
No, that's
Want to close that up? Yeah.
Okay. As I said, I very much appreciate the level of input that we've had, not only over the last 5-6 months, but also in a lot of the interaction with your staff. And as you know, it's been a very in-depth process. And I guess the main message I've gotten from the whole process is, when we first started out our proposal, there were some very legitimate concerns that were raised. And they came out in the public meetings, they came out in my discussions with your staff. And so I took some time this weekend to reflect on the whole process. And I read all the letters again that were submitted, not the last 3 of course, but anything previous to that, and all the notes that we took in all the meetings that we've had. And I asked myself the question, you know, have these concerns been addressed? And I believe to a large extent they really have. And if they didn't, you know, I would not want to go ahead with the process. If there are some legitimate concerns that are fundamentally you know, going to make this project not work, I don't want to proceed with it. That being said, and I should perhaps give some background as to how I come to you know, development. I mean, I've been involved in developing properties for about 15 years or so. But my real background, I'm a professor at St. FX. I'm a professor in the Faculty of Business. And my specialty, my focus actually is in sustainable development, in green management. And that's why you'll see a lot of features in this development that they don't have to be there, like the green roof, but I believe really add a lot of value in terms of the built environment. And so I approach this from somewhat of a different perspective than most developers. This is not, you know, this is not my you know, primary source of income, and I do it because I love what I do. I believe that the projects I've been involved with have added a lot of value. I'm very excited by the idea of introducing you know, a new form of housing in Nova Scotia. I think it's on the leading edge, it's on the cutting edge of development, and we see it happening in some of the world's most advanced cities like Vancouver and San Francisco and so forth. And so I'm driven by some motivations where obviously the building has to work, it has to provide an income and so forth. That's my business side talking. But on the other side, there's also a very real personal interest here in creating something beautiful, something that really works, something that's really functional, something that really adds value to the community. And as a result, you know, I have some leeway there. I'm able to put things, you know, as I said, like a green roof, or for example, when the parking issue came up, our original proposal had only about 15 parking spots. The reason for that is because in our development in Antigonish, which is about half the size of this development here, we only need 6 or 7 parking spots. That's all the demand that we have from 35 tenants. And so, of course, we just put in 15. A real concern came up that perhaps there are some differences in terms of the need for parking here. So we did a major redesign of the whole building. We lifted the whole building up 4 feet in the air, put in a 35 or so underground parking garage. Obviously, that added quite substantial, more, you know, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of extra expense, but it makes for a better building. It's going to make for a much better development. And so, and I think you can see that throughout the whole process, where very legitimate concerns that were raised, I believe, have not been addressed. I made a quick note of some of those key areas, and I'll just very quickly go through them with your understanding.